The summer break is always famous for one thing: silly season. And while we're not close to making the same crazy mess that happened last year with Piastri's move to McLaren and Ricciardo getting fired, this year we have some much bigger names connected to much bigger teams, starting from Magnussen losing his spot in F1 and opening up a chance for any young driver who wants to prove he's good enough for F1, and ending with the superstars Norris, Leclerc and Sainz. We have it all packed up in one video, so why don't you stay until the very end to find out what's going to happen in the amazing world of summer break silly seasons. Let's start with the least exciting one, which is Kevin Magnussen's terrible performance. Ironically, he was one of the main reasons why Mick Schumacher got fired, mostly because last year he showed that his Haas car was more than good enough to score points. But after Hülkenberg, his old enemy, was brought into the team, it seems like the Danish driver has lost his magic touch with the car. He's been consistently beaten by Hulk, and right now most of Haas's 11 points came from the German driver, who has 9 points compared to Magnussen's 2. If there's one thing that Haas is very well known for, it's the fact that they don't give struggling drivers a lot of chances, just like what happened with Mick Schumacher. Even though Magnussen impressed us with his Viking comeback in 2022, even earning his first pole position in Brazil during the sprint race, he failed to keep that good momentum going, and everything from that point has turned out to be a complete disaster for the Dane. He doesn't have a contract after 2023, and the fact that Hülkenberg signed a multi-year deal last year only makes things worse for the Viking. Even Gunther Steiner has been very honest about this situation, saying that he's not ready to give the Dane a new contract just yet because his lack of good results are a serious threat to his second retirement in a couple of years. When talking about this, he added, "Kevin is not in a happy place right now. Being behind Nico, he's happy with the team and he knows the car is there for him to do it. He just needs to get it done. In the end, it's all about performance, but right now I'm pretty relaxed about it. I want to give at least another 5 races to see where we are and then start to think about it. Whether or not Magnussen will be replaced is totally up to him. But if Haas decides to get rid of one of last year's most impressive drivers from a low-performing team, it's very likely that they're going to bring back Giovinazzi back into the sport following his recent Le Mans 24-hour win. Apart from Magnussen, there aren't many drivers who should be afraid of losing their seats and being out of the sport. But changing teams is something that's more on their minds. For example, the recent surge of good performance at McLaren has brought a lot of talk around Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, with both of these drivers being connected to Ferrari and Red Bull respectively, although Piastri shut down the rumors about going to the Austrian team anytime soon. That doesn't end the possibility that things at McLaren could go bad very quickly. The door from 2025 onwards will remain open for the Aussie. Helmut Marko has spoken only good and positive words for the youngest member of the grid, meaning that there is a lot that he could achieve if given the right car. But on the other hand, we have Lando Norris, who has been heavily rumored to have signed a pre-contract with Ferrari because his old teammate Carlos Sainz is already determined to leave the team in the near future for Audi. We'll get to Sainz later in this video, as we want to talk about Norris first and how he could be leaving McLaren high and dry, making the same move that Sainz did in 2020. The start of the season was far from great for McLaren, but in the last 4 races, the Woking-based team has been able to gather 86 points and make themselves the 5th fastest team on the grid in a close battle to beat Ferrari or Aston Martin by the end of the season. Even with this in mind, Norris doesn't seem too happy about some of the problems with the car, such as the low-speed corner stability, and has constantly said that no matter the recent surge of good performance, the car has a lot of problems, and they need to fix them sooner rather than later. McLaren has been given a deadline until 2025 to fix the car if they want to see Norris stay with the team for a longer time, and while they've made a massive step forward in 2023, it doesn't guarantee the signature of the young Brit. According to media close to Ferrari and McLaren, the superstar has already signed a pre-contract with Ferrari that would put him in the seat next to Leclerc as soon as Sainz leaves for Audi. Considering how close Sainz is to Audi and his father drives for the German company in the Rally Dakar series, and considering how unhappy he is with the strategies he's been getting from his racing engineer, this isn't too crazy of a scenario. Joe Soward has spoken about this matter as he went on to explain. Norris and Albon were the subjects of wildly different rumors about the future over the weekend, with both being mentioned in connection with Ferrari and Red Bull. Whether such moves make sense for either man is open to question. But there are some who believe that Lando may already have some kind of pre-contract with Ferrari. I can't see that as being a smart career path given where Ferrari currently is. But then going to Red Bull and trying to beat Max is also a career path from hell. But this was said before the recent surge of performance from the MCL60, and whether or not Lando will leave everything that the team has built for him in the past couple of months is yet to be seen. Everything depends on his former teammate Sainz. But before we get into the Spaniard's money talks with Audi, let's focus on his teammate's massive contract extension with Ferrari for the upcoming 5 years. Even though Leclerc is connected to many teams including Red Bull and Mercedes, the Monaco driver is very likely to keep his spot at the Maranello team, as he has reportedly signed a 5-year extension in the form of a 2+3, with the last 3 years being the driver's choice as to whether or not he'll continue working with the team. This speaks volumes about his thoughts. If Ferrari is not competitive in 2026 with the next major rule changes, then I highly doubt he will continue the endless suffering with the team. It's very encouraging for him to invest that amount of time in a team that seems to be so messed up on every level possible, especially after Vassar said that they are miles away from where they need to be. But when you hear the price that has been reportedly agreed to, then you'll understand the reasons behind his signature. If the rumors are to be believed, Leclerc signed a contract that would give him roughly $37 million per year with the potential of a €50 million bonus if he remains with the team in 2029. I guess loyalty pays a lot, and the fact that Red Bull didn't talk a lot about approaching Leclerc during the Austrian Grand Prix about a potential partnership only goes to show that there is no room for them to tempt the Monaco driver. But on the other hand, it seems like massive changes are coming to Ferrari sooner rather than later. According to the latest reports, Sainz has already signed a pre-contract with Audi, a team that is yet to enter the sport from 2026 onwards, as his contract with Ferrari expires at the end of the 2024 season. More often than not, the Spaniard has stressed that the drivers' contracts have been the priority for the team right now. And while Leclerc's money deal has been brought to light, this might have triggered Sainz's latest actions, as the Spaniard is more often than not frustrated with where the team is moving and how the operations are being handled during qualifying and race days. Sainz admitted that he would rather start his season already knowing where he'd race in the upcoming year. As he went on to further explain, because that takes away the distraction that there always is to be negotiating a new contract, when you need to be fully focused on what you're doing on track and on the work you have to do with the team you're currently with. That's the only way to make progress. While it's still early days and the end of the season is still some 4 months away, it's true that once this championship will be over, I'll fully focus on sorting my future. The goal is to go into the 2024 championship without any worries about it, and my contract for the future already signed and sealed. This opens up the door for Norris's move to Ferrari in 2025, and it would give Sainz 1 year to get comfortable in Sauber, which would be taken over by Audi in the following season. What fits into this scenario is that Zhou's contract with Alfa Romeo has been extended by the end of the 2024 season. So it seems like 2025 does have a lot on our plate if all comes down to it, because even though Sainz stated that he believes in the Ferrari project, it's more than clear that he's already looking at his alternatives, and this time it might be Ferrari that will be on the losing end of things. Of course, we can never take away Logan Sargent and Daniel Ricciardo from the picture of being fired in 2024, especially if Tsunoda is able to beat the Aussie in the current season and Sargent brings nothing but trouble for Williams, the team that currently has 11 points, all scored by Alex Albon. One thing is for sure, we're going to have a very interesting season ahead of us. And I must warn you, you have to fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be a wild ride into the drivers' futures.